Good morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome. Good morning, Calvin. Just few seconds waiting for others to join in, and then we can just shoot into the topic of today. Just a few more seconds, please. Good morning. Meantime, just tell me where you are watching from. If you are going to stay around as we do this presentation, just comment and tell me where you are watching from as we wait for a few more people to join in. Babatin, Skhumbuzo, Babatin, Mpumalanga. Wow, God bless you. All right. Others, where are you watching from? Please let me know where you're watching from. I've got Babatin Mpumalanga from Skhumbuzo. Where are you watching from? If you're going to stay for this broadcast. Polokwane, Mankweng, Gloria. Welcome, Gloria, from Polokwane. I lived in Polokwane for 2 years. Yeah, it's a good city. The hospitality of the people there, it's amazing. It's at another level. I've got Polokwane, I've got Mpumalanga. The rest of the people, where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Please let me know. We are about to start with the presentation. Just for a second, tell me where you are watching from. Putiruli says Kalanga. Where are you watching from, Putiruli? Where are you watching from? Tsanin. Right, thank you. You are welcome. The other members, where are you watching from? Do we have another one telling us where they are watching from? Okay, so what you can do for me, meantime, just share with your friends so that they can also join this live broadcast, and hopefully they will learn a thing or two. Shomla is watching from Free State. Welcome. You are welcome. Thank you so much, Shomla. Just share with your friends so that they can also join in to listen to this presentation. The other family, where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? I've got Free State watching. I've got Tsanin. I've got Mpumalanga watching. I've got Polokwane watching. The rest of you, where are you watching from? Ivory Park Extension 2, Midrand. Calvin, you are welcome. I've been to Ivory Park. I've actually rendered service to several schools in that area, in Ivory Park. All right. Okay, we're about to start. Let me pause the music. So we've got Ivory Park, we've got Polokwane, we've got Tsanin, we've got Mpumalanga, we've got Free State watching. Okay, I hope the others will tell us where they're watching from as we continue. Okay, I've got Papa I can't read that name, but you are watching from Sabi, Mpumalanga. Right? Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, Papa Dipuo. Papa Dipuo. Oh, Puo is for Dipuo. Okay. You are welcome. Thank you so much. Hopefully you'll be able to stay around for a few minutes as we give this presentation on habits. And I hope that my audio is clear on your end. Okay, I hope that my audio is clear. So I'll continue with the presentation. Makoseni Print and Design is at Woodmead. Okay, I know where Woodmead is. I've also done some work in the companies in that area. You are welcome, you are welcome, you are welcome. You are all welcome. All right, let's shoot. So we're talking about habits today. So if you have been following the live broadcast, unfortunately I don't have a definite time in which I do these live broadcasts because of my busy schedule. So I cannot have a definite time. But whenever I'm in the office and I've got some time that I can spare to do these live broadcasts, I do justice to that. And thank you for following me. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for sharing with your networks so that they can also be exposed to what we are doing from this end. And also we can gain more followership on this platform. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. Now, I know that it is ringing in your mind right now what habits are all about. You all understand what I mean by habits. But I'll just explain it in my own words and try to simplify it for those who might not know what habits are. Habits are those activities, engagements that you perform consistently, intentionally, and over time. You apply the same methodology in most times. You don't switch methodologies because it's a habit. It's something that you do often and using the same methodology in performing it. And often habits are daily, weekly, monthly, or seasonally. So there are things that you do at certain points and certain time frames. So those are habits. Habits can happen naturally, impetuously, intuitively, because there are things that you do often and you are not aware that they have now become habits. But also habits can be intentional. You can choose to do certain things in a certain way, at certain intervals, and for certain periods. And that will be the habits that are intentional. But then habits, it's the culture that you adhere to in terms of engagements and activities. Habits either produce for you satisfactory results or disappointing results. They produce for you either satisfactory results or disappointing results, depending on the fabric and the landscape of your habits. So habits can be good, habits can be bad. If you are engaged in bad habits, there's no way you will get good outcomes. The ramifications thereof are going to be as bad as the fabric of your habits. And vice versa. If your habits are good habits, you are prone to procure good outcomes or good results out of your habits. The danger of habits is that even when you are deteriorating and going down the pit, you may not know it because you are used to that activity of habits. It's now embedded within your system. You no longer feel a pinch as you do it. It's more like it is natural for you because it is habitual. So you do it with ease, you do it without a struggle. So the danger will be that you can be deteriorating and not knowing that you are deteriorating because what you are doing, often you are doing it now with ease. But on the other hand as well, you could be accelerating, you could be proliferating, you could be growing, you could be increasing, you could be developing from the outcomes of your habits. And that's the good part of engaging in good habits. Most of the habits that we engage in, especially those that are good, they come at a price. They are not easy to uphold. They are not easy to succumb to. They are not easy to adhere to. It's gonna require you to put in an amount of effort to keep at it. It's gonna require you to make investments. It's gonna require you to employ energy in order for you to keep at it. So good habits are not as good or easy as it sounds. You've got to invest in perpetuating the standard, the lifestyle, and the habit of your habits. It's gonna cost you something. It's gonna cost you intentionality. Let's give a practical example. If you're going to develop a habit of health and fitness activities, it's gonna cost you, because your body will refuse to wake up at the time you ought to wake up and pursue that activity. But you've got to be intentional and force your body to go and be active in that process. In that way, you are able to then procure the good results of health and fitness, because you have put in the effort, you have put in the work, you have invested. And a whole lot of people are unable to procure good outcomes from habits, because the habits that produce good outcomes are costly. So people want to be complacent or to be comfortable in zones of no comfort. Remember, comfort is an outcome of the work that has been put in. You don't occupy the zone of comfort before you work. You work first, then you occupy the zone of comfort. So any other comfort that you gain before you put in some work, it's false comfort. You are complacent. You think you are comfortable, but you are surrounded by risk. You are surrounded by threats, and you don't know it. And that's why a lot of people that want to be comfortable in false comfort, they end up failing. They end up not succeeding, because it was never comfort in the first place. The comfort was false, because you rested before you could work. So real comfort is when you earn it after putting in some work. Habits can either increase the worth of your being, the worth of your name, or reduce the worth thereof. When people see you doing things as often as you do them, they are going to then hold up a reputation of your name based on what they see you doing often. So that incessant flow of your activities will determine and dictate the reputation people hold about you. Hence I'm saying habits can either proliferate or ramp up the worth of your name, or they can attenuate, decimate, reduce, or dissipate the worth of your name thereof, premised upon what people see you doing as often as you do it. So there are people we have not met, but from a distance, we see their consistency in doing good things that they are doing. And in our eyes, in our perspective, their names have worth and value because of what we are exposed to, that which they do as often as they do. So the habits that you are engaged in, you often need to go back to the drawing board and check whether they are good habits or... All right, I'm back. So there are healthy habits, there are unhealthy habits. Which ones are you engaged in? There are healthy habits, there are unhealthy habits. Which ones are you engaged in? So like I said, in the beginning, that habits that are good, they come at a cost. You have to pay the price. You have to invest that effort, that energy, in order for you to procure good results out of your habits. Okay? So habits are the efforts that you put in consistently, constantly, periodically. Those are the habits. Habits can repel opportunities. Habits can attract opportunities. So habits can be attractive, magnetic to opportunities, or habits can repel and dispel opportunities from you. So the type, the version, the landscape, the kind of habits you engage in can bring about or engender opportunities for you, or your habits can repel opportunities for you. So habits are actually preparation that is not intentional. So you become pregnant to birth something without you knowing that you are pregnant. Yeah. Habits are unintentional preparation for giving birth to something. So what you are carrying in your internal intrinsic makeup through your habits, it's what you will birth at the opportune time. What you are carrying unintentionally through your habits, it's what you will birth at the opportune time. So should you be called to an interview now, unprepared, and you are asked questions there which you need to answer, whatever you are going to say in that interview to those panelists, it's what you have been pregnant with over time without you knowing. So everything that happens on the inside may not make sense externally because it may not have a formula that we can relate to externally. But everything that happens internally will find space, opportunity, time to express itself externally. So what we see externally, it's always a reflection of what has been kept internally. Whatever you take in is what you will take out. Input determines output. So the public arena will be exposed to the output, but there has always been an input which is a determinant of the output. So your habits are actually forming something within you that will be reflected soon in the public arena. Your habits are forming something on your inside that will be soon reflected in the public arena. And unfortunately, people cannot judge you, cannot measure you, cannot analyze you, cannot assess you based on what they see on the inside, because they don't see anything on your inside. They will always judge you by what you emit externally. And what you emit externally, it's a direct reflection of what you have formed internally. That's what habits do. Habits are forming something internally. Every time you engage in those habits, they are forming something internally which will be birthed externally. Unfortunately, what you birth externally can either be magnetic to opportunities or repellent to opportunities. It can repel, dispel, chase away opportunities, or attract and embrace opportunities. Habits may not produce results now, but they will definitely produce results tomorrow. Habits may not produce results that can be seen by your naked eye now, but they will definitely produce results tomorrow. So there are people who are going to be exposed to your habits of yesterday by the outcomes of today. I'm going to say that again. There are people who are going to be exposed to your habits of yesterday by your outcomes of today. Because yesterday was the pregnancy, today is the birthing. You don't birth at the point of pregnancy, but you birth at the point of maturity. So when pregnancy has now matured and it is in its birthing phase, that's when you can give birth to that which you have been carrying. Habits can cause you to become a local entity or become an international global entity. Habits can cause you, can frame you to either be only a local entity or a global international entity. So it depends on what you engage in so often that it will determine your semblance in the public arena or in the local world where you are. So the people you live with locally can be celebrating your habits because they are common to all people locally. But being common does not mean they are right. Being common does not mean they are correct. So you don't measure the integrity of what you do against how many people are doing it. You measure the integrity of what you do against the correctness of what you do. I'm going to say that again. Excuse me. You don't measure the integrity of what you do against commonality, against how many people are doing it where you are. You measure the integrity of what you do against the correctness of what you do. It is in the correctness of what you do that you will be translated from a local entity into becoming a global entity. So if you were in business and we speak the business parlance of phraseology, of vocabulary, we will say that the people who are your customers will not only be local customers, but it will also attract international customers. So if the people that are interested in your habits are only local, you should be afraid. If your habits are good habits, they should attract the interest and the fascination of those that are of a global community. Because truth has no color. Truth can be truth here and it will be truth there because it is truth. Truth does not change colors. Truth is not a chameleon. It does not take the color of the geographical location where it is embraced. But truth remains truth, whether here or there. So if your habits attract the interest, intrigue the interest of those who are of a global community, then you know that you are not measured by commonality, you are measured by correctness of your activities. So your value does not need to end up in rand value, but your value must also be measured in dollars. It must also be measured in pounds. So in other words, if your value is only in rands, you can become a champion only where you are geographically, but you'll find that you become a non-entity when you go elsewhere. The truth of the matter is, if you are holding in your hand a 200 rands note, you are okay in our circles. Locally, you've got money. But if you go to America with that 200 rands note, you'll find yourself holding about $14. If you go to Britain, you'll find that the value of the note you are holding, it's actually of low value. So don't measure your integrity, your excellence against commonality. Measure your integrity and your excellence against the correctness of what you are doing. Please write it down so that you don't forget what I'm saying. I will repeat it for the last time. Do not measure the integrity of your activities based on commonality. How many more people are engaged in the same or embraces the same? You've got to measure the integrity and the excellence of your activities against the correctness of those activities. And sometimes when you pursue the correctness of your activities, you may start traveling in a lonely trajectory because it comes at a cost, and many people don't want to pay the cost. All right, so habits can either bless your life or curse your life. Some curses that are upon people's lives are not as a result of alchemy, necromancy, or witchcraft. Some curses that are upon some people are premised upon the consistency of their habits, the version of their habits, the fabric of their habits, the landscape of their habits, the quality of their habits. So if your habits are not of good quality, you will experience outcomes that are not satisfactory. So you will be living in a space that suggests curses than blessings because of the continuous, consistent, and constant and incessant activities you are engaged in the name of habits. But you can also live a blessed life because of habits. Do you know that some habits, they actually usurp peace, tranquility, serenity, and sanity from you? Yeah, some habits take away peace from you. You are exposing your system to certain dispensations, atmospheres, environments, and associations that take away your peace. And there are certain habits, vice versa, that engender peace and serenity. Whatever you do, as often as you do it, it attracts peace into your life. And it is that peace that will be perpetual if you are consistent in the habits that have engendered the peace. Let me say that again. Your peace, your blessing that is brought about by your habits can be perpetual, can be perennial, can be eternal, premised upon your consistency in keeping up with the same habits that have engendered the peace for you. So outcomes can be sustained by the sustenance of the habits. Outcomes can be sustained by the sustenance of the habits. So if you perpetuate your habits as often as you can be, especially if they are good habits, that can perpetuate the results that you have gotten from the habits. If you are the kind of a person that says, I'm lazy to read, you are simply saying to me, I'm lazy to grow. Think about it. If you are saying you are lazy to develop the habit of reading, you are saying to me you are lazy to attract the outcome of growth. If you are saying you are lazy to develop the habit of reading, you are saying to me you are lazy to attract the outcome of growth. Because it is reading that actually prepares your mind to receive revelation. It is reading that prepares your mind, the substratum of your mind, to receive the effect and the influence of revelation. So when revelation comes, it stirs up a revolution. You become more like an activist towards the trajectory to greatness. So even if there are stumbling blocks, limitations, and impediments on your way, you destroy all those impediments and reach to your destination of the attainment of greatness. Because there is activism within your internal hallmark, your internal makeup. So when there's activism that is internal, there is nothing external that can stop the activism that is internal. You will be able to reach to the destination of your greatness because the power is not external, so the power is internal. When the power is internal, there is no impediment externally that can stop internal power. Power being the dynamic ability to cause a change. And that change, if it comes from within, there is nothing externally that can stop the change from happening. The change will take place because the power is within. So, your habits will either engender blessings or curses. If you want to change negativity that surrounds you, you change your habits. You do the opposite of what you have always been doing. So if what you have always been doing engenders negativity, brings about negative outcomes, negative energy, you change. You do a pivotal turn. You change, you make a U-turn and perform habits that are different to what you have always been performing. When that happens, then you are guaranteed that the results will change from the results you have always been yielding. Okay? I think it's one of the philosophers in the world that said, it is insanity to expect different results when you are doing the same thing over and over again. It's the same principle with habits. If you do the same thing over and over again, it will give you the results after its kind. So you plant a seed, you will eat the kind of seed you planted. So seeding precedes eating. Seeding precedes eating. You are going to eat from what you have seeded. So habits are seeds that you are planting onto the intangible ground of development. The seeds you are planting on that intangible ground of development are going to determine the harvest you are going to procure. And harvest, it's not to be seeded. Harvest is to be eaten. You enjoy harvest from the perspiration of seeding. So when you sweat in planting, you will be fulfilled in eating. When you sweat in perspiration, you will enjoy in harvest. Sweat today to enjoy the sweet fruits tomorrow. So sweet fruits tomorrow will not come if the sweat has not taken place in the seeding process. Brothers and sisters, habits are all you have to change your life. Outside of opportunities that are presented by other people, if you must create opportunities, check the standard, check the quality of your habits. It is what you do over and over again that will attract the opportunities you deserve. Opportunities are not going to come to everybody. Opportunities are going to come to those who perspire, those who sweat, those who seed will deserve to eat from the harvest. I hope you are enjoying. Let me take this short break and just ask you to make a comment. I'll also be reading your comments. Make a comment of how this presentation is treating you so far before we can continue. Let me just read the comments of those who have already commented. If you have not commented, please say something about this presentation, and I'll be able to read your comment as well before I continue with the presentation. All right, I see many people have liked the live. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's a comment as well to me. I just can't read all your names of the people that have liked this broadcast. But yeah, make a comment, place a comment. I will read it. Tell me how you are feeling about the presentation so far before we can continue towards closure. And let me read the comments of those who have already commented. Okay, I'm still checking the likes. Okay, the first comment was from Trusted, who said power. And Calvin said, yes, coach, the outcome of growth is the result of continuous and consistent effort. Yes, it is like that, Calvin. Let me see other comments. I see the likes. Miracle says, I'm in network marketing. The sweat is painful. I wonder when will I reap? Look, nobody promised you when you will reap. So when the harvest comes, that will be the right time. All you need to do is to continue doing the right thing in the right manner. And that is a guarantee that the results will come. But if you change from doing what is right and adhering to the right mannerism, you will not get the results that you have always desired. Okay. What is the next comment? Let's see. Leslie says, I'm learning. It's never about the pregnancy. It is about giving birth. Definitely. Pregnancy is just an indication that something is about to be born. So the most important is not the heaviness of the pregnancy, is the enjoyment of what the pregnancy produces. All right, let's continue. Leslie says, I'm also learning. Doing good automatically puts value on my name. 100%, Leslie. 100%. Okay, let's look at other comments. Are there any other comments? I don't see them here. Yeah, but if you still have comments, drop them. I will read them before I close this presentation. So as we are nearing the closure of this presentation, we are continuing on habits, and I'm happy that you are learning, and I hope that you are also jotting down the lessons that are relevant to your personal trajectory, which you can apply to make yourself effective and a better performer tomorrow. Right, so we are continuing with habits. Now, habits are within the parameter of time. The circumference of habits is the time element. I learned this in theology, that there are Greek words that define time. And for those who don't know them, I might as well share them with you. There is a term called chronos. We also have that term in English, speaking of chronology, chronological time. Now, this speaks of the analog time, the time measured in hours, minutes, and seconds, which gives us 24 hours per one full day. So this is the time that limits our activities, because there are things that you will not be able to do outside of the time that you have been provided. So you cannot have 25 hours, 30 hours. We all do everything that we do within the limitation of 24 hours. And within the limitation of 24 hours, our bodies are wired in a manner that they can only be productive for a certain period of time. And when it gets to another phase of time, our bodies will send a message that it's no longer time for you to be productive. It's time for you to rest. And that is when we take a nap or we sleep. So this time, it's a time that determines activities. And if you don't manage this chronos time, the chronological time, it is going to manage you. In other words, there are activities you'll find yourself engaged in without intention, just because you are now managed by the pressure that is engendered by time. So you are no longer having an upper hand over time, but time overwhelms you. And the second term, it's what in Greek still, it's called kairos. Kairos in English, it's season, the opportune time. So in spirituality, I will say is the opportune time where God interacts with humanity to produce literal and physical results for humans. So when God intervenes into your life, that's when the results are produced in the physical. That shows that this was a season, an opportune moment for you. And then there's a concept of time we call the eon dimension, which is in English, it's called eternity. So this is a broad sweep of time that cannot be measured. You can't measure it in hours, minutes, or seconds, months, or years. It's a broad sweep of time that has no beginning and has no end. And this is where, because our spirits don't die, we are going to spend the rest of our lives in eternity. We have started now to live in eternity, because when we die, we don't stop living spiritually. Our spirits continue to live. So which means already we are living in that broad sweep of time. We are just limited by the fact that we are inside the shells of our bodies. But as soon as we leave our bodies, we continue to live in the afterworld that we will be living in. Okay? So, habits are within the circumference of time. If you waste time, you have wasted the progress in your engagement in your habits. If you waste time, you have wasted the progress in the engagement in your habits. So for an example, I have my own personal program of self-development. If the time to read and to write passes, it means that time has been wasted by whatever I have been involved in replacement of my habitual activity of self-development in reading and writing. So the time can be wasted whilst you are still busy with other things of non-importance. So be careful that you don't shy away from your good habits to start bad habits. I will say it again. Be careful, be cognizant that you do not start another framework of habits that's different to your good habits. Because once you start a new framework of habits, That's different from your good habits. It means what is having an upper hand in your life now, it's no longer the normal good habits you were engaged in. Now something else has replaced your good habits. So the results you will produce are no longer the results you are used to from your good habits. Now it's results that come from your bad habits. Let me give you a concept that you may not know about. There's a concept of posthumous. So as an author, there are notes that I write on daily basis, okay, in my diary. If I die today and my family decides that they are going to produce a book from the notes that I have written and also write what they think I would have written if I was alive. So that manuscript will be called a posthumous manuscript because it is coming after I am dead. So your habits must create that posthumous activities. You must continue to live through other people even after you are dead because of the quality of the habits you were living when you were still alive. Yeah. You must posthumously have an impact to humanity even after you cease to exist physically. So you must still make an impact through other people because of the excellency and the quality of the habits you engaged in when you were still alive. This, if you don't learn from it, it comes at a cost. It's not a walkabout. It's not a walkover. It's something that is pricey. You have to pay the price to achieve this. But you know that there are people who continue to impact us from their graves, posthumously. And that is the kind of a person that you ought to be. So managing time is actually about managing priorities. Because the concept of time management needs to be interrogated. Maybe it's not the right terminology that is used there. Because for me, you cannot manage time. Time manages you because you are limited within the 24 hours of time. There's nothing that you can do outside of that. So what you can manage within the 24 hours of time, it's your priorities. You can set your priorities. You can do this primary thing and then followed by this secondary thing and then go in that hierarchy. Performing things of primary importance, secondary importance, and the rest of the hierarchy of importance. So that is priority management. So your habits must be systematic. By systematic, I mean, when you, let's go back to the parlance of business, okay, the vocab phraseology of business. When you have set systems in business, you do not need to work as hard as you would work without systems. Because set systems attract workers. And workers will do that which you will be doing, and they will do it to ease the burden from your shoulders. Because systems must be run by people. So if your habits are systematic, there are things that you will do and there are things that you can leave to others to complete. But the glory will still come to you because it is your system. Yeah? Your business reputation, it's unto the owner or the founder of the business. But even if you can employ 3,000 people to work, the credit will always go to the visionary of the organization. So your habits must be systematic. You must perform your habits in such a way that others can also take over to complete that which you have not completed in performing your habits. Woo! Brothers and sisters, I'm excited that I have pushed for the time that I have pushed, giving you the entire presentation on habits. I'm just checking the time that I have spent already, 57 minutes talking to you. This is a full session on habits that I have given you. And I hope that you have taken down notes and you can continue to share with others this important information on habits. So before I close, I request you to please give your last comment on comments so that I can read it here as I close the presentation. But thank you so much for joining me in this live broadcast. Thank you so much for staying around and listening to what I have to say. It would not be effective without you. This presentation was effective because there was somebody listening to what I have to say. So if you want to contact me to come to your organization for people development, for team building, for communications training, soft skills training, use this number that I'm going to read out now. It's 075 294 2504. 075 294 2504. You can also visit my website, samuelbaloyi.com, or our company website, parexcellencesa.co.za, parexcellencesa.co.za. Until next time, I wish you God's speed, God's wisdom, God's favor. Keep winning, and God bless all of you.